Hello, friends. It is Ash Wednesday. From the St. Jude's Writers, we share with you a children's reflection. Now, I wonder, how can I share a children's reflection? I've asked Gabriel to help me. Gabriel, what story do you think I could share today?
There is a story of a butcher who gave a local dog a big bone.
Yeah, I know that story now, Gabriel. I know that story pretty well. All right, let me tell that story. As Gabriel mentioned, there's a story of a butcher who gave a local dog a big bone from his meat shop. The dog was so happy to receive the bone. It was the greatest gift it had ever received. It began its joyful journey home. As soon as the dog went over a little bridge, the dog looked down and saw its reflection in the water below, and thought it was another dog with a bigger bone. The dog got jealous and wanted to steal the bone from the other dog, which was its own reflection. So the dog jumped at its own reflection, hoping to snatch the bone away from what it thought was another dog. And of course, the bone fell into the water. The water quickly made the dog aware of its foolish ways, as the bone that it had now was lost. The dog couldn't believe what happened. The dog was very sad. It was really foolish in what it tried to do. The dog lost its only bone, the greatest bone it ever had, and it almost lost its own life. For if the dog fell in the water, the dog could have also drowned. So we learn from this story a very important lesson. Gabriel, what do you think is a lesson we can take away from this story?
Talks about greed.
Yeah, you're correct. It's a story about greed. Children, Ash Wednesday is the beginning of the season of Lent, and it is known as the purple season for us. But this season calls us to spend time to look at ourselves, look deep within ourselves, to recognize the ways we can be just like this dog, the way we can be greedy, the way we can be mean, unkind, uncaring to each other. In the gospel reading from Matthew chapter 6, Jesus is teaching a whole lot on this topic of looking at ourselves. This is a big word we call introspection. That is to look carefully on our habits and our ways. And the snake you see in the picture represents the evil that sometimes can lurk around trying to get us to do bad things. Jesus is giving us very real examples of how we can make sure we're not being like this foolish dog, how we cannot allow greed to get the better of us, or any other sin, and how sometimes we can be blinded by our own sinful ways. Therefore, as we begin this long journey through the season of Lent, let us spend some quiet time to look at ourselves, not just what we see in the mirror, but let us look deeply into who we are. Remember, Lent is calling us to be a G. Yes, a G, but not a G for greed or a G for gangster. No, no. But a G for goodness and gratefulness and being a big G for God, being like God. So remember, the season of Lent is to help us to not become like the dog, not to allow greed and all the other sins to get the best of us, and therefore we take the time out to think of what Jesus is teaching us to do and how for us to be more wise in our ways. Let us close with a nice song, Search Me, O God, and I invite you to look it up on YouTube. It's also in the CPWI, that's our hymnal, 850. I want you all, friends, to look at this song, to read through the verses and the words and see what it is saying to you.